I think the mental part's like the most important one because you can have it all, but if you're like scared up there, you're not confident, you're like having doubts, like you're not gonna do what you can do.
We're back with another episode of Champion School. I am Ray McIntyre. That is BZB. We are bringing you a really good episode today. Will Klein, we just finished the interview. The dude dominates. He throws 102 miles an hour. I don't. So this is a guy we're interviewing. And guy's a legend, man. He was Eastern Illinois College, converted catcher, and all around awesome guy. So stay tuned for that. We're fired up. Anyways. Before we get to that, BZB, how are you?
Doing great, Ray. We're doing great. I was going to say you throw really hard batting practice, but I can't even imagine what 102 is looking like coming downhill off that mound. So we're doing good, man. We're excited. It's been a good week, good fall wrap up, and then kind of get into this winter time. Keep it rolling, man. It's been good.
102 looks like my coach pitch on Fridays generally. I'm throwing from 35 feet, and I throw as hard as I can. So,
yep.
What's new with MLU? I briefly mentioned it on my solo episode of the podcast that I did myself the other week, and I'm glad we got you back. But what's new with MLU? What did you end up doing last week?
Yeah, very impressed with the solo dolo out of you, Ray. It was awesome. It was great. It looked a little lonely though, so hey,
it was me and Snoop
buckets. Yeah, you and Snoop. No, everything's been good, man. We just went out to Southern California from Thursday to Sunday. We got a couple great opportunities. Got to speak at a ABCA coaches barnstormer that they had at San Diego State. Worked with a couple teams, Chapman, La Sierra, and then Stars and Spikes, a club team there in town. And so really just a great weekend, man, getting to see from the youth to the high school to the college guys and just getting to equip them, man, and let them have some fun. I mean, I think that's the number one thing, and that we're going to get into that in this episode is talking about having fun as a young athlete and just making the game enjoyable, man, because it becomes a grind sometimes for a lot of us. So that was really cool. It was fun to build some good relationships, get out there down south. It was beautiful. Got to see some family. They got a new house up there at Riverside, beautiful house, really cool. And Lexi got to come along with me. So that was pretty cool just to be able to take her along, be a part of the ride, and get to experience some time there together. And obviously I had to hit the beach in La Jolla. So everything's been good, man. Now we're back and we're planted here in AZ for the next month or so, I believe. We'll see. So it'll be good to catch up here with family and kind of just plant the roots for a little bit.
That's right. Is it Ryan Brownlee with ABCA?
Ryan Brownlee, yes, sir.
Shout out to him because he's been getting us set up and wants to get us out there at the ABCA convention and for the major stage. Is he? Give us the timeline, by the way. I think I said youth stage this year. That might be next year. Is that right?
2 years, I believe. So I think they have, and I don't know if I'm allowed to spill the beans on who they're having, but
sorry.
No, you're good. But there's I think this year, I believe is Hannah Huseman with the Phillies. She's awesome. And then next year, I believe is Lauren Johnson, who was with the Yankees and does a lot of her own stuff now. I think she's kind of moved into that route. And then the following, so I think 2024, if I'm right, would be when the youth stage would go. And then, hey, we'll crush it out. We have a cool thing happening in December that will be presented, I believe, at the ABCA, or at least through the grapevine of their email list and everything. So it'll be fun, man, just being able to get to connect with these coaches. Ryan does a great job. JR was awesome. X was amazing too down there, one of their interns who just kind of came on board a few months ago. So great to get to see him, great to get to know him. And we love what they do, man. They do so much for our coaches out there.
No doubt. If you're not a member of the ABCAs, get on it. They provide a free insurance, or not free, I guess, because you're a member. But they provide insurance for coaches, and you can run some things under them. It's $1 million coverage on top of your membership, and you get the discounts for everything they do. So obviously a great organization. You should be on it if you're not. Last thing that I wanted to hit on, MLU Project Sandlot has an official drop date, January 2nd for the whitelist folks. If you have not gotten on the whitelist, that basically means, hey, you're going to get the first access to the sale. And then everybody else will jump in behind you on the 5th. So if you want to get on that, make sure you DM us or send us a direct message from Facebook or Twitter, any of the socials, either directly to me or in Major League University or Project Sandlot. We'll get you on that list and make sure it goes. because those will go fast. 4,200 of them, but we're fired up for that, man. We're getting close.
So excited.
That's right. Anyways, let's get in the good news of the week. Good news of the week. Giving Tuesday is coming up, but it's tomorrow via the time you're hearing this. But anyways, I read this article, really cool. Said a survey of 2,000 Americans shows that 90% of people that do a good deed, giving, feel better about themselves to the point where they're almost 2 times as likely to have and live a more satisfied life. Just by giving, dude. So let's think about Thanksgiving. Hello. Dive into it for a little bit on your end. How do you feel once you give something or give back to a community?
It's incredible, right? And I didn't know 90%. That's a high number, and I'll stack the odds in our favor there. But you feel amazing, man. And even if it's just giving your time, right? I think some people think that when you think about giving, I have to give financially. You don't have to give financially. Go serve at the local homeless shelter. Go serve on the weekend to clean up trash. Go hang out with a foster care family, whatever it might be. There's so many ways that you can give your time if you don't have financial means to donate money. And I think that's almost more important to me, is that service that you give to others. So it's huge, man. It just refills your cup, right? It refills your cup with purpose, with gratitude, with joy. And then it takes you to a new level. Something we're going to do at MLU is every year we're going to start a fund for Cooperstown and being able to bless one kid through Cooperstown. So this year we're going to bless a kid, cover their expenses, their travel, everything that the family has sent over. And we'll make sure that happens every year. It's going to be an annual fund that we do for Cooperstown because it's such a great experience, getting to experience it. And I think every kid needs to be there and experience that one time in their life, go to the Hall of Fame, be there with their teammates and just be in that experience. So go give. Find a way to give your time. Doesn't have to be money, your effort, right? Even given to your family this Thanksgiving without erupting at them on the Thanksgiving dinner, right? Maybe that's just giving your patience, right? So there's a lot of great ways we can give.
And well, just giving time is like the most valuable asset, right? Like we always say, you don't get it back. But when we say giving time, that means like giving your presence in time, not hanging out in the same room on your cell phone like many will do during Thanksgiving this year, so make sure you're present and just spend time with people and show them that you care, because all that really, really matters and is important. Number 2, speaking of giving, 13-year-old Mississippi kid, okay, his name is Abraham, and I'm going to botch this, Olagbighi. I can't pronounce poor last name. Olagbighi is what we're going to say. Anyways, at 12, he was diagnosed with this rare blood disease. He needed chemotherapy and bone marrow transplants to get by. And he's now looking up, like things are looking better for him and his situation, which is great. But during that whole situation, he was granted a Make-A-Wish, Make-A-Wish Foundation. They do great things and they help kids fulfill their dreams. Well, this kid decided, hey, I don't want the Make-A-Wish for me. I'm going to use the Make-A-Wish to provide meals for the homeless people in my community one time a month for an entire year. And Make-A-Wish is stepping in and providing meals. And he's this kid who's just come out of chemotherapy, bone marrow transplants, and all this. And he's going through this crazy situation, is feeding homeless people in his community one day a month for an entire year, thanks to Make-A-Wish Foundation. So, I mean, talk about giving back. What a legend, man. Like, and he said, it takes me back to my roots, like as a 13-year-old, and that's just a family that's raised him right. So what do you think about that story?
That's incredible, man. Think about the selflessness too, to go through that experience on your own. I can't even imagine what that would be like. And then saying, no, I don't need this. Like, I'm going to give it to somebody else, to the other people in our community. That's ultimate leadership right there. And it's coming from a young kid that we can all learn from. Dude, that story fires me up. That's really, really cool.
That's right. Give back, people. Give back. It'll make you feel better, I promise. So anyways, that's going to do it for the good news of the week. Let's move on to this week's Den. This week's Zen, we just talked about it. It's staying off your cell phone is one, but I want you to dive into, how do you stay present
Great question. So you talked about the cell phone, Ray. There's a really good statistic that I've been sharing this last week ever since I heard it because it was eye-opening. And this guy is working with his football team, a high school football team, and he asked them, hey, let's all go pull out our phones and check out our screen time. Let's see how much time each of us spend on our phone. And the average consensus was 6 hours a day. So he said, okay, 6 hours a day on your phone. Cool. And this is, mind you, in the middle of a football season. So they have school, they have football practice, they have games, right? They're busy. And he said, let's do some multiplication here. So let's go in a year, how much time that would be. 91 days of phone, right? That doesn't mean like 6 hours a day and then the other whatever or normal. That's 24 hours a day for those 91 days. Let's fast forward a little bit more. Okay, let's go in 10 years. That's 3 out of 10 years that you've wasted on your cell phone. Okay, well, let's go 50 years. That's 15 years that you've wasted out of 50. So I think about that and I'm checked immediately because I spend a lot of time on my phone. I'm sure most of us do. And just being present with those that you're around, either whether it's intentional, leave your phone in another room, put it outside when you're going to bed, turn it off, put it on airplane mode, finding solitude and peace wherever you are and being present. It's one thing to be around someone, but it's another thing to put your phone away when you're around that person. And we all know somebody in our life, usually family, that pulls out their phone in the middle of our talk. And we're like, dude, I'm talking to you and you start checking your phone. Are you really present with me and listening? No, you're not. I know you're not. So intentionally putting that thing away or turning it off or just giving yourself segments of the day where you can just take a little breather on your phone is going to be huge. And so that's something I'm challenging myself with. Lexi as well. We've been challenging ourselves with it starting yesterday. And then just something that we can all be more aware of, man, is when we're with somebody, let's be with them. Let's be present with them. Let's be connected with them instead of seeking other things on social media or our phone that distract us.
Dude, I was in a meeting, a very important meeting the other day, and like career meeting. And this dude that is very high up in an organization was literally looking at his Apple Watch while I'm answering questions. I was like, that's it. Like, that ain't right, you know? So anyways, yeah, turn it on to do not disturb. The little moon shaped thing you have there, like I literally walk around with it on that now. Like, it's been great. I pull my phone out plenty of times. Like, I check it all the time. Like, I'm not going to miss much, but I don't have it buzzing, you know, and that's been a huge break for me. And I think the other thing is, like, take in your surroundings, you know, like if you feel like you're getting lost. And the one thing I do a lot is I just daydream, you know, like I'm going off into my own world, thinking about what I need to do tomorrow or this evening or the lessons or whatever. Like, take in what's around you and really focus on things in your presence. And you're going to feel like you're living a lot more fulfilled life. You know, you're not always missing out on things, right? And you're actually enjoying what you're about. So all that's super important.
Huge. I love that, Ray. That's huge.
Well, we are time for the interview with a legend.
Let's go.
Will Klein, who throws roughly 40 miles an hour harder than I do now. You know, anyways, he's a pitcher in the Royals organization. He was the pitcher of the year for that org, and is a dude. He fills up the strike zone. He's had his ups and downs, but he's a super grounded individual. By the way, you'll hear this interview go. Before we get to that, what did you think about it?
Awesome interview, man. Good energy. And just like you said, really grounded in his beliefs and a competitor, right? I think competition is striving for excellence in everything you do. And that's what he's looking to do. And you'll hear something on here of where he's trying to take his 102 up a little bit, which is crazy to me. Like, dude, 102, that's so hard. And, but he gets into a lot of really good stuff about the mental game for our youth athletes, some recommendations and some guidelines for them, and just really good podcast in general, man, to see what he's done and what's led to his success. And knowing that even some people who are really, really good and talented still face the nerves, the anxiety, the worry, the lack of confidence, and the self-doubt that we all go through. So I think humanizing is huge. So we're excited for it, man. He's awesome. And we're excited for his year too.
Without further ado, Will Klein.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Champion School. I'm Austin Byler. We got Ray Mack down at the bottom here on the screen, and a very special guest, former 5th-round draft pick by the Kansas City Royals, Will Klein. We're pumped to have you on, Will. One of our buddies is a little sad, JP. Shout out JP. He's a little upset he can't make it here. He's working, but we're pumped to have you on, man. How's your day going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me on, guys.
We're stoked, man. We're stoked. Well, I guess kind of just to get us going, man, fill us in on your background. I know went to Eastern Illinois, I believe, and kind of came through a crazy COVID year with the draft and everything. Kind of fill us in on your background, where you're from, and how you've gotten to this position where you are with the Royals right now.
Yeah, so I was born in Tennessee. I grew up in Bloomington, Indiana, where Indiana University is. I grew up watching those guys play ball, watching the Cubs a little bit. Kind of that's where I got my love for the game. My dad and grandpa loved the Cubs and baseball in general, and so grew up just around the sport a lot. Played at Bloomington North. I was a catcher, like most of my career. Like I was a varsity catcher, sophomore, junior year, till I broke my thumb senior year. Mostly pitched. I pitched it on the side a little bit, but Eastern Illinois saw me at a showcase or tournament thing, and they hey, you're gonna be a pitcher. I was kind of crappy at catching, but I had a decent arm, and so they're we want you as a pitcher. It was really the only interest I had. And D1 school, 4-year good education opportunity. And I kind of had to couldn't say no to that. I went there for 3 years. Absolutely loved it. I love the guys I played with, loved every one of my coaches. Definitely helped me grow physically, mentally, with every aspect of the game. And then you guys know the COVID year happened. Kind of everything went to crap. No one knew what was going to happen with the draft. The 5 rounds, I knew I was on the verge, didn't know if I was going to get taken, not get taken. That day was kind of crazy, a whole lot of anxiety about what's going to happen if I don't, what if I don't get taken? Then luckily I got that call in the 5th round. I was shaking that whole time, I was just waiting on something. Got that call, and it's been a dream come true ever since.
Dude, that's amazing. And I mean, what a crazy year. I mean, you go from, I had 50 rounds a few years ago to 40 to 10 to 5, just a crazy deal with the draft and how everything's changed. I kind of have my own experiences with that. You mentioned the anxiety piece, right? Where you're going in, you're like, yeah, going to be taken, who's going to take you, all this other stuff. Walk us through that draft experience, man, for somebody out there who's I always hear about it. I think it's going to be the best day of somebody's life, but in reality, it's those emotions kind of creep in and there's so much uncertainty. Walk us through that draft day for you.
Yeah, the 5-round draft just made everything just intensified by 10 times. 40 round, I was man, I know I'll be somewhere in the top 10, top 7 rounds. That's kind of everything I heard. I was confident about that. I wasn't too worried about getting taken. It was just more so where you're going to go. So that'd be a little more exciting. Oh man, where am I going to go? 5 rounds, you don't know whether you're going to have whether you have to plan on going back to school for another year, whether you're going to be out somewhere next week, playing pro ball, meeting people and stuff. And so I was just sitting there I didn't know. I had heard anywhere from rounds 3, 4, 5. I heard around 6. So I was man, might not get taken here. Heard some stuff didn't go through. And then I was just sitting there with my family, watching the TV. I was just oh man, I played that guy. I think I should be going soon. Just guys of equal talent and stuff. But come from Eastern Illinois, not getting a full year, when I was at my best, kind of inhibited my ability or my time to show what I could do. When I was at the top of my game in college. And so it's just I don't know if I did enough to get taken those 5 rounds. And luckily the Royals, they saw it, took a chance, and that kind of washed away all the anxiety of that day. But it was just, it was nerve wracking just sitting there watching, not knowing what to do, what to expect.
Yeah. Kind of go ahead, Ray, go ahead.
Well, it's just sketch too. Cause on top of that, the free agent signings were limited to $10,000 or something, So really you had to be a super late senior or get popped in the first 5, or you're going back to school, wild situation for all you.
Yeah, absolutely. We had some guys that would have been taken early, would have been taken 6, 7 rounds, and they end up signing this free agent deal. We're man, you guys should have been taken, but just COVID screwed a lot of people.
It's just a crazy deal, man. And it's all the backlog of it. And then you kind of work down through the college system. Then you go down to the high school kids who are I probably should be good enough to go to a school, but they have 25 dudes that have a 17th year back on from COVID.
Yeah.
Like, let's just tack on another year for these kids every single year. So there's just a lot going on with it, but let's kind of shift the focus. Well, first I want to know this. So JP wrote in the notes, he put down that your fastball has touched 102.
He said pretty good arm.
Yeah, I had a decent arm coming out. What? 102? Okay, I gotta ask you for the viewers, what does it feel like to touch 100 miles per hour? Because I've only seen it. I've never thrown it. I got a noodle, man. What do you got on that one?
It's pretty nice. It makes pitching a little easier when you can do that. But I mean, after like the first few times, you're like, man, can I do that again? Like, can you do it? And you're like, oh man, like I guess I can actually throw that now. I got kind of like to be like the norm a little bit, just like hitting it every game, throwing a little harder than that. Like it kind of got to the point where it's like, how much harder can I throw? And so we're still trying to see how much farther we can go, but it's definitely pretty cool telling people, or when they ask like, hey, how hard you throw? Like, I hit 102 this year. It's like, oh my God. Like, not to be like cocky or anything, but it's like, it's kind of cool, especially like coming out of high school, like not being a pitcher, like kind of getting to this point in my development. It's pretty awesome.
When is the first time you hit 100?
I hit it. So like, this is like unofficially official, like on a stadium gun and like in a summer league all-star game, like out in the Northwoods, like gun might've been up 1 or 2, like scouts said it was like 99. So I was like, I think it was 100, but it's 99. And then I think last year before we went out to not like COVID year, when like the season was canceled, they had like a extended instructs for like all the new guys and some like second year guys. But before I went out to there, like building up, I think I hit 100. I hit like 100.7 or something on like a track, man. I was like, all right, I have it in me now. And then I got to the Royals, got out to Arizona, got pitching a lot more, and then it kind of just built up where it's like a lot more consistent, like hitting it every other game, every game, stuff like that.
Yeah, no shot on our end. I mean, anything over 95 is like scary in general, but you taking to that 102, 105 range, if you're getting that high with Chapman and whatnot, like insanity.
Dude, seeing these
That's
dudes,
fun.
it's unreal seeing like the velos. Yeah, it'd be nice to be on your side of this thing, not on the other side trying to hit this thing, man. Like, I want to be the guy chucking 102.
I mean, I'm watching guys like throw 95 in their pens and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know how anyone hits that. And I just think, well, how do they hit like even harder and stuff? And just it adds a little bit to like, yo, man, like you have a little more room for error. But I definitely couldn't hit 90, I think.
Yeah, I love that. Talk a little bit too, Will, kind of, because we know you throw chatter, dude. You got a good arm, like you're doing things the right way. I believe you were named the Royals Pitcher of the Year, Pitcher Prospect of the Year, which is really exciting. Congratulations. It's awesome. What an honor. I'm in a really good farm system, right? The Royals always produce their dudes the right way. For you, though, how much does the mental game come into the pitching piece? We know you got the cheese. We know you got good stuff, but getting there on the field, man, you're facing the best of the best still. And these dudes are good enough to hit that and turn that around still, even though it is firm. Like, what does that mental game piece do for you? And when did everything kind of shift for you mentally?
I think the mental part's like the most important one, because you can have it all, but if you're like scared up there, you're not confident, you're like having doubts, like you're not gonna do what you can do. Like that's how I like started the year. I went through some of that my first outing. Like I walked 4 guys, gave like a run, luckily got out of it like a little bit unscathed, but I just like walked the first guy. I was like, oh my God, like am I supposed to be here? And that kind of like spiraled that game. Then a few more like outings, like it got a little better, but like just learning how to like trust yourself, like you just got to have that confidence in your abilities, and that doesn't come like right away. Like it comes from like success, like continued success and stuff like that. It also comes from just like believing that you're better than everyone, believing that you're better than yourself, like better than the doubts and stuff. And so once I like kind of figured that out mentally, that definitely that piled on with my physical ability, and that I think that like the mentality takes you above other people. Like everyone's professional baseball player for a reason. Like everyone's super talented and stuff. The guys that are the confident guys, the guys that can like take the punches and roll with them and keep going, like those are the guys that are gonna be the best. And so if you try to like, if you just accept things will happen, like, oh, they're gonna get hits, they're gonna get runs, like these guys are professionals too, like you can continue to be better and not like let that stuff hold you down.
That's so good. I love the piece of just acknowledging the failure too, and then Ray, I'll kick it off to you. But just like having that consistency, man. There was a pitching coach. Ironically, he was with the Diamondbacks, and he told us in spring training. He said, "Look, fellas, it's not the most talented dudes who get to the big leagues. It's the most consistent." And it stuck with me forever because you know as well as I do, like you see these Latin players who just have unbelievable talent, or you see some arms who are just dude electric, but trying to find the strike zone, pitching in and out of the zone, getting outs, all this other stuff. Like that stuff weighs on you a little bit. So finding that mentality, man, that's so big. Ray Mac, I'll kick it off to you.
Yeah, Will, who are some guys that in the organization or even just in baseball that have kind of you've leaned into that have taken you under their wing and has helped you over the last year or so?
Yeah, just some of the guys like I played with this year, like in the bullpen, like some of the older guys like Peyton Gray, Garrett Davila, just guys that like have been there before and like have been through the ups and downs, like kind of know like what it's like to like kind of have some self-doubt, like and like not trust everything you've got and just like kind of get you back on the right track. Just guys are like good friends in general. Like you can tell like what's going on. They're like, yeah, we get like everyone kind of goes through the same stuff. Like you just got to find your way out of it and something like that. And then just like watching how they handle what comes at them like helps. Like even hitters, like watching how they handle a bad at bat, bad swing, like bad day, like come back the next day and ready. And that's like they can do that, so can I stuff. That's kind of what I liked about the Quad City is like everyone kind of had that attitude. Like no one really got down on themselves a lot. And if they did, someone would get them back on their feet. So it was nice to have a group of guys like that.
Yeah, the Quad City team was nasty this year too, right? You guys ended up winning the Central Championship.
Yeah, the highest central. Yeah. Yep.
How was that playoffs and leading through playoffs?
The playoffs was awesome. Like leading up to it, those 2 weeks, I felt like the 2 weeks before we were kind of like coasting into it. Like we weren't doing our best. We like our hitters weren't, our pitchers weren't, like no one was really like taking like a high pressure game. And then like a week out, our coach was like, "Hey, you got to treat these games this next week like it's your playoff series. Like these guys, because we had like two teams battling for that second place. Every game for them is a high pressure. Like they have to be game ready, like go out and win or they're done." And so they were ready for like a playoff situation, whereas we were playing games that didn't mean anything. And so we kind of had to take it up a notch. And I think we ended up winning like 5 out of our 6 that last week, just like taking the attitude up. And so once we got back into that gear, it kind of definitely helped for our playoff series. But like losing that first game was a gut punch. Like, oh man, like what are we doing? We should be beating these guys in 3 games. We took game 2, gave them game 3, took game 4. And then game 5, like after we walked it off on game 4, it felt like we were going to win game 5 no matter what. And I think we ended up like shutting them out and taking it home. But it was kind of like a little scary after that game 1, but we had trust in our guys and we pulled through in the end.
Oof, I love that. The trust in the dudes. And you say the environment too, in the bullpen, right? The bullpen could be a distraction or it could be something that's really productive. Just seeing it a lot. And then seeing kind of how you guys almost coast into the playoffs and then, hey, we got to turn the knob a little bit. Something that I'm really curious about that I think our viewers, listeners, and especially the coaches and parents out there would love to hear is like, how do you stay consistent and mentally prepared as well as physically prepared through a long season? You start in spring training, right? You're there early. You guys pitchers are reporting earlier than most. And then you're playing into September, October. Like, what are some things that maybe you did personally that kept you mentally clear or physically clear? Like, how do you kind of take care of your body, your preparation, some of those things off the field and even pre-game that can help you be the best that you can when you step out there on the mound?
Yeah, it was definitely a learning curve a little bit on that, like how to maintain your body and your mind. Like spring training through those first few games, like, man, college season, summer ball. And then we got the game like 60, 80, 100, 120. And it's like everyone's kind of dragging, but like everyone else is dragging too. And you got to understand that, like, if you can just be a little bit better than everyone else, then you're going to have that edge because 120 games isn't easy on anyone. And so just keeping your mind a little quicker, like staying in the game instead of like letting like the 120 games get to you. Like you're going to be tired and stuff like that. But you just got to stay in your routine. Like can't let yourself slack. Like can't let the 120 games take the toll that they should be on you and stuff like that. And just like keeping it up in the weight room, like not slacking in there either. So you maintain that strength. Like that's one thing some guys had happen. Like either lose a lot of weight throughout the season, like not stay in the weight room, like stuff like that. And you saw their performances. But I think we had a lot of guys that kind of kept on track and let our guys play like they did the whole year through 120 games. And I definitely like gave them an edge. Like our hitters were ridiculous, but they did it every game in and out. Our pitchers, same thing, every game. Everyone had their best stuff. Almost everyone had their best stuff. Like you're gonna have down days, but everyone kind of kept their head in it. And especially that last week, like no one really let a bad game in the regular season get to them there. And so it just felt like game one of this year in the first game of the playoffs, and then just kind of dominated the rest of the series.
Sounds like some electric energy amongst the team, like just
absolutely
synergizing, man. That makes it so much more fun too and enjoyable. I'm sure through those 120 games, I remember a lot of people say, hey man, those August, September, like the quote unquote dog days, right, of summer. And how do we get through this? We hit a wall. It's after the All-Star break. There's a lot of things that go into it. But now that you're kind of wrapped into this off-season mode, right? You're back home. You get to go hang out with your lady and everything like that. What's the off-season training program look like for a professional athlete? Like, what are you doing? Where's the secret sauce? How do I start throwing 102? I'm kidding. I'll never touch 80. But what's like the one thing that you're doing in the off season? How do you maintain that work? And how do you kind of flip that switch now, getting a little experience with it to say, hey, I had a great season. I recognized it. Let's celebrate it. But there's more work to do. I'm coming back to spring training to earn a job next season.
I mean, I come to P3 about like 5 days a week. And then day 6, I do a little something a little closer to our house in St. Louis, because it's like a 40-minute drive, but it's on the highway, so it's not terrible. But I'm in here like 5 days a week, like Monday through Friday, and lifting, and then getting some drill work in, like with med ball, stuff like that. But like I like lifting heavy. I like building strength, and that's what I'm doing right now, because I know I got more in me. And so if I just keep pushing that floor up, I think I'm going to be able to keep throwing harder, or at least maintain a little better, and then not like drop velo in game or throughout the season, stuff like that. Cause that's important. That's as important as it is to throw harder. Like if you can stay up there instead of dropping down like some guys do, then that'll keep you in your prime a little longer throughout the season, give you a better chance to put up some better numbers and stuff like that. But also like preventing injuries. Like a lot of the stuff, like getting stronger, like you're going to have more protection around the ligaments and muscles that you like need to keep healthy throughout the year. And so that's one thing that like staying healthy and lifting through the season does too, as well, is keep your body healthy and keep everything moving right. I get my mobility working every day, like try to keep myself moving, because you get too strong and you're not like moving as well, then it kind of all goes to waste. And just like trying to get better every day, trying to beat yourself every day is the best way to get better. And that's what I like trying to beat what I did last time, beat what I did the set before, and stuff like that.
What are you doing? What are you doing in your free time? I mean, I know there's a lot of dudes that are out there fishing or, chilling on the video games or whatever, but what is it? What's something that you're doing in your free time?
Playing video games, reading. We got a kitten, so taking care of him. Nice. a lot of work when he wants to be ornery. So that's fun. But there's a lot of cool stuff to do around St. Louis. Like we've gone to the zoo, aquarium. They got a lot of cool stuff around here. So just kind of venturing through the city, like taking some of the cool stuff in is what I'm trying to get to. Like I haven't been to a Blues game yet, trying to get to a Blues game at some point. Just stuff like that.
That 5 a.m. wake up call from the cat is not ideal sometimes. So as a cat owner myself.
Dude, he was, this morning, I think he was in at 3 a.m., like biting our face. I'm like, come on.
Just get off me, bro.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a kid, so you can't really be that mad.
You can't like smack him or anything, He's like this poor little kid. Okay, maybe you can smack him a little bit, right? You got discipline, baby, discipline. Come on. We'll occasionally
need a water bottle.
I know.
There you go.
There we go. Ray's cat will occasionally just kind of wander through the screen, so we'll get some guest appearances by Snoop. His name's Snoopaloop, and just having him kind of creeping in there, showing a little tail, and then he just sneaks out. He just wants to make his presence known.
That's so they got to be around you.
Yeah. What's the video game? I'm curious, because me and Ray Mac are big video game dudes. We love video games. What's what's your go-to?
I like playing FIFA. Like my dad and uncle watch soccer a lot, and so I grew up kind of watching soccer as well, like in high school and stuff. And I've kind of like started watching a lot myself. And so I really enjoy it. I hope to go like actually see one in person, like somewhere in England at some point. That'd be cool. But I like playing FIFA. It's the only game I'm like actually good at, I think. And so that's why I play it more than others.
Yeah.
I can't play shooter games. Zero aim, absolutely nothing. But I think I'm a little bit decent at FIFA, so I stick to my strengths.
I've launched a controller or two in my day. I lost in FIFA late, you know.
Oh, absolutely. There have been times where it's like this would look really good through my window, but
That's right. That's right. Some BS from PSG late in the 10-minute over or something. No doubt.
Something always happens.
Yeah. I've got maybe one more, Ray, and I'll kick it to you, and then we can dive into the game and kind of start wrapping up. Well, I've got two more actually. One is what drives you, Will, to be better than you were the day before? You mentioned the you versus you mentality. You're like, man, I know there's more in the tank, and I know sustainability and all this other stuff, injury prevention. But really, what drives you, man? What's your purpose? What's like that why factor for you in your life that's really gotten you through the ups and downs of collegiate baseball, professional baseball, and then obviously the COVID kind of towel that got thrown in there too? What drives you every day?
I just want to be like the best pitcher there has been. Like, you know, like I know I'm not there yet, but like if you beat yourself every day, if you get a little bit better every day, like you beat that guy and you tell him that you can't do another rep, you can't throw harder, you can't like be better at baseball, like stuff like that. Like if you keep beating that guy, then you're gonna be the best that you can be, at least. Like some guys are gonna have physical limitations, stuff like that, but you can't let your mind be one of those. And so I just like trying to keep going, trying to keep pushing myself and not letting my mind at least hold me back. Just want to be the best.
That's so good. I love that. And then I think that kind of following up with it, right? Being the best version of yourself for the youth athletes out there. There's a lot of them. It's kind of crazy to me because college usually gets a little bit of a break. Professional athletes, they take their 3 to 4 month kind of quote unquote break. Youth sports are all around for the most part, unless you're in a really cold weather state, but I'm in Arizona, so they're always playing baseball. What's your best advice to a young athlete, maybe a high school athlete who's on the verge of maybe going to college and has this big dream to play professionally, but just is trying to kind of find themselves a little bit? What's your best advice to them through this time, kind of going into the spring?
To those younger guys, like when I was young, I would try to play at least one sport every season, whether it was football, baseball, basketball, soccer, like something every season to like change it up a little bit. Like you can't just play baseball year round as an 8-year-old. Like you're young, you might burn yourself out. Some kids love it that much at that age, but I know I wasn't like that crazy about playing it year round. So like changing it up a little bit, like letting you play different sports, like hanging out with friends, like having fun playing the sport. So it's not like a job at that age. And then when you get to high school, obviously you have to kick it into a second gear. But again, like a lot of the best athletes, play multiple sports. I wish I did. I wish I would have played like basketball in high school as well, but I didn't. I stuck to baseball. But a lot of the best athletes, play 3 sports. I know a lot of colleges like look for guys that like have played multiple sports because it means those guys are athletic, they're competitors, stuff like that. And just like wanting to like have fun still. Like it's not a job. Like even at this age, like a lot of the guys like think it's still a job, and it is in some aspects, but you still gotta have fun. Like if you're not having fun playing baseball, then you shouldn't be doing it. Like it's still got to be a game. You still got to have fun if you're not having fun, you don't want to be better. And so being better makes it a lot more fun. So, but that's
would be fun.
Absolutely. But that's something that a lot of guys forget. Like when you get to pro ball, like everyone's like so stuck up, like trying to get to the bigs. Like, well, you still gotta have fun. You still gotta like want to play the game. Like it can't be like you dread to go to the field every day. Like, man, I wish I didn't have to go. Like, no, you want to go. You want to like have the attitude that you're having fun every time. Like be the guy that your teammates want to go play for. Like if you're having fun out there, they're gonna have fun out there too. And so just something like that.
Showing up 150 days a year hating what you do is really tough, like,
absolutely.
You got to start making yourself happy first and go from there. So I'm with you.
Yep.
Well, let's get into this game. We're going to throw this at you. We haven't thrown anything at you on this. So it's called On It or Off It. I'm going to go through a list of 10 things. You're going to say you're either on it, you're for it, or you're off it, you're against it.
Okay.
And then just like a one sentence as to like why.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Number 1, Call of Duty.
I mean, I'm on it. I played. I've played it before with my friends. I'm not very good at it, but I played before with my friends. It's something I can play with them. Like we can go all get killed together. Like it's something just to like that guy killed all of us. Well, we can be pissed at him together, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm on it.
Love it. AirPods. Oh, you're rocking them.
Yeah, I got them in right now. My girlfriend got these for me my last birthday, and I was worried to buy them myself because I thought I might lose them, but they're still here, so I'm on it.
Shout out to the girlfriend. How long you guys been together, by the way?
A little over a year and a half. So it's
Nice.
It's fun. It's nice.
Good deal. Meditation.
I would say I'm on it. Personally, I don't. I think like meditation takes a lot of forms. Like you don't have to like get down there and like get in crisscross applesauce, like put your arms out to the side to do meditation. Like I think a lot of it's just like thinking like and calming yourself down. Like you can meditate on the mound and people won't even know. Just like breathing and stuff. I think it's a big part of that.
I agree. Rap music.
On it. Best way to get pumped up for a game. 100%.
Who's your go-to artist?
I mean, I like J. Cole a lot, and then I like Drake as well.
Yep, very good. Thanksgiving.
On it, mainly because my birthday is literally like right around it every year. But it's nice to get the family together, and we go to Florida a lot for it, and so it's a fun time.
Sweet. 3-1 changeups for a guy that throws 102.
Absolutely not.
I was like, I don't know why I put this down there.
No, I wish I could get to the point where I trust my changeup enough to throw it 3-1. Like that's one thing that big league guys. That's why they're up there. Like they can do whatever they want, 3-1, 2-0 counts. But I'm not there yet. Hopefully one day.
Big on big. 3-1. It's just coming at you, brother.
I'm bringing it on.
NFTs, non-fungible tokens.
See, I'm in between. There are some that obviously have some value, but there's a lot of I feel like there's not enough information around them. Like a lot of guys are just like, oh man, I just bought this one. Like there's such a small percentage of them that like turn out to be big money makers. Like you always see like the tweets like this one sold for like 30,000 yesterday and now it's like worth $1 million. But like there are so many other that sold for 30,000 or worth like 20,000. Like big people that don't know what they're doing lose a lot of money there, but the guys that do, they know what to look for. They know the ones that are worth it. I think they're definitely something that will be pretty big in the future.
Do your own research. I like it. Going to the beach.
Oh, on it. Love the beach. Grandparents live in Panama City, so been down there a good amount during the winter, and it's nice to get out there when it's 30 degrees at home.
Yeah. Very good. Ping pong.
On it. Love ping pong. Used to be in my bio. Ping pong wizard. I don't know if it still is, but yeah, it's definitely fun. I know a lot of baseball players love playing it, and it's just a little extra competition.
Were you the best player on your team this last year?
Nope. We did a little competition there. Arizona did not make it very far, but it was fun.
Tough go. Last one. Morning coffee.
Oh, I love coffee. But when you got a morning workout, it's more pre-workout at this point. But I got a nice little Keurig at home for my off days. So
there you go. You know what? Will might have been the most yeses we've ever had on a podcast.
Really?
I agree. Yeah.
That was good stuff.
3-1 changeups were the only one.
I'm all in for the 3-1 heater, man. Give me the heater. Come on, challenge.
Absolutely.
You said it best, right? Big on big. Will, we appreciate your time, man. I know you're busy. I know you got a lot going on. You got to get to a workout right now. Go crush it. Keep doing what you're doing, man. But we appreciate the time you took to be here. I know our listeners are going to get a ton of value out of this. And from us at Major League University, we're pulling for you, man. We're supporting you. We'll be following you through the season. And Jared Perkins may have some cool articles about you during the season too. So we're excited, man. We're pumped about it. My goal for you, my challenge, let's get 103, 104, man. Come on. Take it up a notch.
You go 105.
There, I like it. Sorry, Chapman. Out the door. Come on. But we appreciate it, man. Thanks for your time, buddy.
All right, we're back. Will, thank you so much, first of all. And the way he talks about the game is pretty grounded. He understands that it's hard. He understands that even if he throws 102, he still has to go out there and believe in himself every day. And that can be difficult. I mean, especially thinking about, I got guys, or I've coached with guys that are throwing 80s, mid 80s or whatnot, and they're trying to beat some very talented hitters. Like he's going out there with 102 and still going, like, there's this self-doubt will creep in from time to time, but just the way he talks, I have a feeling he's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? What'd you think about it?
Something he mentioned, Ray, was really powerful, somewhere in the middle of it, but he said, you got to have that belief in yourself and in your stuff, and that you're better than you might even think you are. Yeah. So having that confidence, even if it's like quote unquote false confidence or macho man confidence, like you got to have that confidence in yourself. And he even said it best. He said, man, the best athletes at his level are the ones who are the most confident in themselves, but still have fun. So that was really important. And the other thing was like, hey, what kind of dude am I when I show up? Like when I show up, do other guys want to be around me? Are they excited to be around me for the day? Because that's a long season. You play a ton of games, you go through spring training, you work your tail off, and there's ups and downs for everybody's year, personally and individually. And he's like, dude, if you show up and you're the guy that people want to be around, it's going to be a way more enjoyable season for you. And obviously they had a lot of success winning it all. And for him being the Royals pitcher of the year in the minor leagues, like that's amazing. And it comes from the environment that we surround ourselves with. So a little key nugget for anybody out there, hey, just be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of who you're surrounding yourself with. Are they filling up your cup, or are they depleting your cup? And how are they serving and adding to your life? And how are you serving and adding to their life? What do you got, Ray? What was something that stuck out to you?
Yeah, like you said, be a teammate you want to go out and compete for was awesome. Number two, he talked about the Northwoods, who's in the Northwoods League, which is the longest summer league, I think, per games total. And I think it's like 68 games or something ridiculous, maybe 72 with playoffs.
70,
and that's the All-Star break, bro.
Yep.
Like that's the All-Star break. And how are you going to get out there and run, 152 game season and stay consistent? Well, you got to enjoy what you do. First and foremost, you got to make yourself happy and enjoy the grind, because if you don't, it's probably not for you in the first place. Even if you are legit like a lot of those dudes are. So love what you do, enjoy the grind, and be the teammate that you want others to go out and compete for, or be the guy you want to play with. So all that was important. I thought it was awesome, and Will is a legend, and excited to hear and watch what he does moving forward. I know JP's definitely going to have an article or two on our guy, and then we're going to have to hit him with a little bit of NFT info, send him one of our pods potentially, because he's in. He's just hesitant. He knows that there is risk involved. I understand. So,
very aware.
Anyways, self-aware dude. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Again, I'm Ray McIntyre. That's BZB. We want to thank you all for spending your time with us our plays have gone through 250 plays in the last week, which is insane. So thank you so much. Drop a comment, or give us a rating on Apple or iPod. Apple or iTunes, to see if we can get something on there. Even if you think it was the worst podcast you've ever heard, slap a rating and we'll put that thing up in one of our next interviews. I promise we will talk about it. So
if you give us a 1 star, you better be careful. Don't have an address available.
Get swung on.
Yeah, get swung on. You're going to take my club out here. That does it from us. We appreciate your support. We are peace out.